Okay, how do you sell 10 million units, $1 billion of product? Watch this video because you're going to learn from one of the masters. Okay, everybody, Stephen Key here, inventRightTV, and I have a really special guest that's just, not only is he good developing products, he's good at marketing products. All right, hey, Don Brown, the inventor of the ab roller. Everybody's had one. I had one. You sold over what? How many units? 10?
Millions we sold, but worldwide, a lot.
Like built like $1 billion. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than this. You had the number one, I think the number one best fitness product in the world, basically, that sold. Is that correct?
During the infomercial worlds back in the 90s, that's correct. It was a hot selling product for sure.
All right, you guys, you know what's really special about this? Yes, he's the fitness guru. He knows how to keep you in shape. He's done that his whole life. I know that. But he's a marketing guru too. You guys, you don't understand this. To sell that many products, that everyone's had one, that's just being smart. So I'm going to dig in here a little bit because I'm going to ask you some different questions. I know you've done on so many different interviews. All right. I want to ask you, especially at the very beginning of your creative process, because I know a lot of people, and I know you've talked about this before.
Right.
A lot of people don't think they're creative, but they are because they're just not asking the right questions. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. It's all about that problem, finding a solution, immediate solution. For instance, the ab roller. I'll give you a quick little background at how that happened, right? So I was training a client. She had a pain in her neck, couldn't do a sit-up or a crunch. So I said to myself, how can I help her do it? There's the problem. So I tried putting a towel behind her head. I put some ankle weights behind her head, but she's still pulling on her head. And then I went to sleep, said, I got to help this woman. Got to solve that problem. So the next day, sitting at my desk, I'm bending a paper clip into the shape of a rocking chair. If you look behind me, there's one on the floor. But that rocking chair, my prototype, was a bent paper clip. Rocked it back and forth. I said, I think this will work. Went to Home Depot, bent that, got a full-size tube, made a giant paper clip, bent it in half, duct tape, foam, got on the floor, and the crunch was perfect. Showed it to her. She loved it. And the rest was history. So that was it.
All right.
Solve a problem and innovate from there.
I love it. So everyone, if you're listening, every day you're doing things, you're going to work, everything, ask yourself some questions. If there's a problem, can you come up with a better solution? I love that, Don, because most people don't think they can do this. But the other thing I'm really curious about, so you have this idea, you build a prototype. What do you do next?
Well, me, you don't run out and file a patent, right? We know that. Don't waste money on a patent. Get feedback.
Okay.
Tweak that prototype. Because what I've learned over the years is the further along the path you take it. Now, I know your model is license it, right? Quickly, do a brochure, explain it so people understand it. My model is slightly different because I like to make more money. So I know that my royalty goes up the further I can prove the concept. So as I develop a prototype, and again, a very rough prototype, I get people together, the customer, the ideal customer, not my friends and family who are going to say, great idea or dumb idea. I want real people who will purchase. And that's usually what I do. I get feedback. I mean, when I put that ab roller prototype in my office, I hid it because I knew you couldn't disclose it to the public. So I hid it and would invite people in, sign a non-disclosure. What do you think? I want one. I want one. I want one. So the market tells you. Then they give you feedback. You know, if you could just tweak this or change that, that's how you tweak your prototype. Okay. Not what you think. I think that's the biggest mistake. You know, you think you have a great idea, everyone's going to love it. No, I made that mistake as well.
All right. So you're testing it. You're making sure you're getting the right feedback. You're tweaking it to get it right. So when do you decide, hey, I'm going to manufacture this? And how do I do it?
Well, I've done, obviously, all the mistakes, fill a garage up with product that you think's going to sell and end up losing your shirt, right? Now, I didn't go down that path too bad. Fortunately, with me, my first big hit was the ab roller. I had a loss before that, which I won't talk about now, but my first big hit was the ab roller. And, I took it to a trade show.
Okay.
And it exploded. And those prototypes I brought to the trade show were just that. They were handmade, pretty painted prototypes. I didn't even have production, but I did do the research to find out what it would cost to make, what my minimum run would be.
Okay.
So the first day of that trade show, when everybody was, I'm ordering, I'm calling up the pipe vendor saying, start bending tubes now. So to me, it's validate. And as much as you can do that, before you go and place these big orders, the better. Because that first order, as well as I do, you're going to change. That first batch, you're going to learn a lot more from customer service, customer feedback, and you're going to make improvements. So, I always hesitate to, go into production until I know I have something that people are going to buy.
Smart. Okay, you're right. So is that manufactured here in the States? I mean, you're talking quite a few years ago. So how'd you find that person to build it for you? I'm sure it was here. Was it here or overseas?
Well, obviously, it eventually ended up overseas because of all the people copying me. And when I went to that trade show, we didn't have internet then, right? We went to that trade show. We had all these Asians with cameras taking pictures, and they were taking my brochure. Okay. They actually filed a patent in China using my brochure as the artwork.
Of course.
So you know how that game works. But anyway, yeah. So I got to go back to your initial question.
The manufacturing, was it?
So what I did initially is we bent tubing in the U.S. with a local pipe vendor, right? Because I needed to have small quantity. I needed to have some control. Okay. I didn't get into really understanding the international and overseas manufacturing until I got well into the Infomercial launch. After there were 15 people on TV before me, then we finally got our infomercial out, and waiting for my patents to issue and being able to sue people. I mean, it was just chaos. But that's when I learned a lot about overseas manufacturing and how to find the right factories and all of that.
Okay. So you did the first step in the U.S. and eventually went overseas. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so you've got this product. People are loving it. You're probably shipping it out of your house, or did you get a warehouse? I mean, how did that all start? And how did you get the money to build it?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a funny thing. I owned a health club, which was making me a living, right? And I got one of my personal trainers to run with this idea I had about this ab machine I'm going to launch, right? And so I'd send him to the local pipe vendors, and I'd go on I forget even how, Thomas Register, right? I think that's what it was, where you'd find, you look up in like a big phone book, and we'd have to find the people who would do manufacturing and call him on the phone, and then he'd make an hour drive and say, can you bend this? And what's funny? The one I bent by hand, it took these tube bending companies locally months to get the same arc and everything I did with a hand bender. They couldn't get it right in production. And then they finally did. And those were the first batch we took to the trade show.
So were you shipping it out of your back bedroom when you're first starting out, your garage, or did you get a warehouse?
Yeah, we got a little warehouse for where the tube bender was.
Okay. And
we made the first batch there, and we found another machinist who was making the clamps, and then he was willing to set up an assembly line for us. All right. And that's where we started. Okay. And we were shipping this thing completely assembled. The box was huge, right? Huge. But the market was so hot. People were paying upwards of, almost $200 for this bent piece of tube with a headrest,
So let's talk about cost. How important is cost? Because you talk a little bit about your manufacturing, and you have to control your manufacturing, and cost is everything, isn't it?
Yeah. If so many people misunderstand that. As they think if you see something on a store shelf for $10, I can make it for $5 and make money. No, that's what the retailer is going to want to get the product for, half of this price, right? So I always use the 5-time rule. Okay. My goal is, can I manufacture something that'll sell for 5 times what it cost me to make. And I try to get as close as possible. Now that model changes when you have a consumable product or something, people are going to buy more often. But when you have a hard good like an ab roller, you don't need one a month. You don't need, one every year. You need one for life. So it's kind of a tougher business. So it's very important, with all the different, steps and distribution models to have that 5-time margin.
Okay. How important is the name?
To me, the ab roller isn't my name. Okay. My name was the ab trainer.
Okay.
The company who knocked me off and got the infomercial out first called theirs the ab roller. And I sued them. We settled, and I got all the rights to their trademark, their brand, and everything else. Right. My name was generic, as you know. A trademark ab trainer was descriptive. Okay. So the patent office wouldn't issue that trademark until later, because when the internet started to come on, every search someone did for ab trainer came to me. So I was granted the trademark for ab trainer as well down the road. But so yes, to answer your question, name to me is very important. Okay. Could you ask, how am I good at marketing? I always have this thought in my head that you don't want people to feel stupid, and if they don't instantly understand what your product is, you're going to lose them. Okay. You can't confuse, right? You confuse, you lose. So to me, that's so important. As simple as that is, your name. Okay. We put a whole formula together in that book I wrote about, creating names for your product, and you want to take like the what I call the innovation, right? What's innovative about your product? So to me, the ab trainer, as descriptive as that was, it trained you to work your abs because the bent curve followed your spine. Ab roller, people mistake every young person today. If I said I'm in the ab roller, you know what they think?
What?
The wheel.
Oh.
It's for your abs and you roll it. That makes perfect sense for that product, right? And I still own the trademark for ab roller and abroller.com. But it's just funny that you're right. Names are super important.
Okay. You talked about packaging, how important the packaging is, and at first you were packaging it all assembled. When did you finally decide that, hey, this is just too big?
Well, when you get into TV infomercials, shelf space is everything when you're going to retail, right? Okay. We were shipping direct to consumer, but we wanted people to have that experience, as soon as they open the box, like, whoa, I can lay down and start crunching. But when it comes to retail, that box has to be small. Right. So I learned a lot when I partnered with these infomercial companies. I sued half of them, and then finally got one that was going to partner with me. And then together we went and sued the rest of them. And we sued over 27 people for patent infringement during that time. But that's what I learned, that you need to make it as small as possible. Walmart has shelf space, as you well know, and I'm sure all your audience too. They want to sell the highest value product in this small amount of space. So that's when I learned the importance of, having to break that down. And then, it's a balance between making it easy for the customer so they don't want to return it because they open a box, there's 1,000 bolts, right? Like I always have that quick start guide right on top. They open it up, 3 steps. Even if each step is 100 steps inside, just 1, 2, 3. Why? You don't want them to send it back, right? People do that. They just say, oh my God, this is a pain. So yeah, small box, great for retailer, and also make it customer friendly. Don't think you're going to make 1,000 pieces. You're going to hurt yourself. So that's kind of how I.
How important is intellectual property?
Now, this is an area that I will tell you that a patent is a piece of paper that gives you the right to spend millions of dollars suing people.
Okay. All right.
So if you want to do that, go ahead.
Okay.
I spent over $12 million that I regret to this day on patent cases, making attorneys very wealthy. All right. Because they ride the gravy train of infringement and one after another. Because a patent is only protect you based on the person that's willing to settle. You know that. So to me, what's more important, I think, is a trademark. You know, and thank God with the provisional patent applications today and the easiness of filing, design patents in China and things like that, it gives you credibility for reputable people. But the knockoffs, they don't care. So my philosophy now is be first out, best dress, know you're going to get knocked off if you have a hit, and just accept it, as more of a of like, great, I'm a genius, right? Somebody's copying me. Don't take it as like you hate them and then waste all your energy suing them. I would never do that again. To me, yeah, it was worth it. We made more money than we spent, but we could have done a better deal. If I could have taken all those people to the table and cut a license deal, I would have made a lot more money.
I think you use a friend that I use quite a bit on some of your IP. Kevin Prince, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin. We've used Kevin several times now. I've used Kevin. I love him. He's great. He's got very simple, very focused, doesn't overcharge you. He's inventor friendly. And then I've used, huge law firms that just rip you off. In fact, I had to sue a law firm who overbilled me $700,000. They admitted to it and gave it back to me. Yeah, Kevin, it must have been a junior attorney was double billing or something.
I found that Kevin is very good, very affordable, very practical, and he does a really good job.
He does. And he's super honest. That's what I love about him. He'll tell you, I don't think you should do that, or, don't do the provisional, do the full patent because of this reason. Like he understands it,
Yeah, he does.
To me, I'm focused on trademarks. If I get a registered trademark on something that people remember, it's so much easier. And then also NDAs, as you well know. To me, an NDA is more powerful than a patent because they've already agreed not to copy, right? So if that person goes ahead and knocks me off, during my ab roller infomercial,
you must have good NDAs. Don, your NDAs must be pretty good that you're not going to circumvent anything else. Is that what you have in your NDAs?
It was very powerful. I mean, I won't even mention the name, but one of the biggest infomercial companies in New Jersey, who's known to knock off everyone.
Yes.
Christmas Eve, we were trying to cut a deal with him to take the license rights because I had the patents for the ab roller TV market. He reneged, but he had filled out our NDA before. He's the only one that didn't knock me off of everybody else. He did not want to take the risk.
Good for you. If you were going to, let's talk about something I don't think I've heard you ever talk about. Maybe you have. Let's talk about mistakes you made. You mentioned one about suing people. Yes, I agree. It gives you the right to sue. Maybe that's not the smartest move. Being first is. Any other mistakes you made along the way that you would look back and go, maybe I should have been a little bit more cautious, or maybe I've done something differently?
Oh, mistakes.
You did mention earlier about building too much inventory because you're going to make tweaks along the way. That's good advice. I think it's really, really smart. You've also talked a little bit about don't rush out and file a patent. That's great. Do a little testing. Have people look at it, get their inputs because you're going to make some tweaks. Anything else?
Yeah, I think don't fall in love with your idea. Big mistake. The what's it called? I can't remember the term they use when you keep spending money on an idea just because you've spent money on that idea. You believe it's going to work. That's where I think using Kickstarter can help, right? Validate, because you really fall in love with this idea. I mean, I've helped and worked with inventors, and it's just dumbfounds me how they just keep spending and going back to the same product because they believe it's going to work. So don't fall in love with an idea. Move on, cut your losses, go to the next one. That's probably it.
How do you filter out good ideas versus bad ideas?
That's a good question. The market will tell you, find customers that'll buy it. And that'll tell the truth. I mean, look, I'll give you a quick example of something I think you'll find interesting. So I invented a product with my daughter, problem solution, a s'mores maker. Maybe you've seen it online. It's called micro s'mores. And it was simple. She was making s'mores at the beach house on a paper plate. and put them in a microwave because it was raining outside. So she stack it and it would fall apart. And I'm watching her and her friend. They're like, they're looking in the microwave. So I took a glass butter dish, held it together, put a graham cracker, marshmallow, whatever else, boom, and chocolate, boom, and it held it together, expanded, it goes perfect. So then I created this really cool product called Micro S'mores. And you got to look at it online if you haven't seen it. So I did a TV infomercial, got inventory. This thing's going to blow out. We didn't sell anything. Failed miserably. I even got it in Walmart, and they returned it. But I got it on QVC, and it blew out. It was the top selling product, QVC. 3 infomercial companies called me and said, we want to do an infomercial. I said, I already did. It failed. No, you didn't do it right. We'll do it right. All 3 of them failed to get it on TV. Why? Why do you think? Why did it blow out? Why did it sell $800,000 on QVC? Because, again, back to my other rule, it has to instantly make sense to the person who's going to buy it. If you're watching TV, football game, infomercial pops up, Micro S'mores, no more fires, no more pokey score, make it in the microwave. You're like, I make s'mores outside. Didn't make sense. But grandmas on QVC thought it was the most brilliant thing in the world. No fire, me and the grandkids, nothing to poke them in the eye. They bought them like crazy. I sold every grandmother on QVC. And we wasted $300,000 on infomercials trying to get it to go massive, right? Wow. So that's a lesson learned about message market and really hitting the right audience with the right product. It's just amazing to me how these niches exist for people, and you can go from a totally failed idea to boom, success.
So I haven't asked this question. I probably should have asked it at the very beginning. Did you take marketing classes, engineering classes? What did you specialize in? Did you go to college? Talk about a little, because I know fitness is your thing, but you've gone so much in so many different directions with it.
Where can I put it? Let's see. I didn't go to college, went through high school because my mother told me at a young age, she said, go graduate high school, get a degree in high school, finish school, get a job with a pension so someday you can retire.
Okay.
And I had 2 interests, gymnastics, right? I was good at gymnastics and I loved the outdoors. So I watched that Jack LaLanne guy on TV from the time I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Went to work in the supermarket, became a butcher because they paid the most. I needed to make money because my mother and stepdad split when I was 17. I was on my own. So I had to work. I worked at a supermarket pushing carts and bagging groceries, and I became a butcher. And then at the end of my, working as a butcher for 9 years, every day after work, I go work part-time at a Jack LaLanne fitness center because I loved it. And when that club went out of business in 1986, I quit my job as a meat cutter. 9.5 years, 6 more months, I would have had a pension, a 10-year pension. I left to jump in and open a health club. I did that for 20 years. And during that time frame is when I kept solving problems and coming up with great fitness products.
Don, what are you doing now?
Okay. So about 5 years ago, well, more or less 7 years ago, a friend of mine came to me and he said, look, I have this idea. The planking on the floor is boring.
It is.
So you can make it fun. I don't like it. You can figure it, right?
I don't like it.
So he hated planks because you just sit there. If anything, you look at your phone. So what I did is I created a platform called the Stealth Core Trainer. You can find it at playstealth.com. And what it is, it's a platform that you drop your phone on. You download our app. We have all these games. Your core becomes the game controller.
Okay.
So you're planking and playing games. And we launched that on Kickstarter 7 years ago, generated over 380,000 in pre-orders. And then we sold, get this, we sold over 500,000 of these so far. And we did it, especially during COVID.
Okay.
We were selling 1,000 a day during COVID. The product was so popular because it's easy. Like if you hate working out, Just do 1 minute of core training a day. You play a game for a minute. Instead of just sitting there with your mobile phone playing mobile games, the stealth core trainer, you get a core workout that's super intense because the platform moves back and forth so you can play the game because your phone's tilting and twisting. And all of our games are customized to balance your body so you're getting a full workout. But you got to check it out. So that's what I've been doing for the last 6, 7 years. And
made
we've
it
had
fun.
a lot.
Because
Yep, we
planking's
made
not
fitness
fun,
fun.
and I'm just waiting. I mean, I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm just like counting down.
Yeah, you would really enjoy that product. It's fun.
Great idea.
We make fitness fun, so that's what I'm currently doing now.
Oh, wonderful. Great idea. All right. You come up with a lot of ideas. Anything else you want to share with everybody? What else you got?
Sure. You had asked me what was one of my biggest mistakes. So after I was a genius at the ab roller, right? Luckily, a lucky genius. Somebody came to me with these. These are called knuckles, and they're a back massager. You just rub your back. So I went to a mall, shot an infomercial. I spent $200,000. I had people going, "Oh my God, this thing feels great." Ran it on TV, 0 sales. Like, what the hell? I learned something very important. You have to feel it. You're buying a feeling, not a piece of plastic. So what did I do? I went to the mall after that failure, rented a mall cart. You know those little kiosks where the people come up to you? And I forget what year it was, but in a 2-year period, rubbing people's back, I had 300 carts, and I sold 3 million pairs.
Just
$20 a pop.
nice.
And what did I do? Rub their back, big sign, get knuckled. What's that? Turn around. Hand them the package, and we sold them like crazy. Believe it? I mean,
everybody, he's going to find a way to make it work. That's what I've learned through this video, this interview. You're going to find a way, even if something stops you, you're still going to figure a way.
Here, I'll show you the end result of that product. They put me on the cover of the specialty retail magazine. I don't know if you can see that. Because we sold so many. I mean, it was really crazy.
That's wonderful.
But that was a fun product.
All right, I want to talk about, there was a TV show, one of my favorites, was the Donny Deutschs, The Big Idea. I watched it. I was even on it, but you were great on it. What was that experience like being on national TV giving tips?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was a nervous wreck, as you can imagine. Sure you weren't, but me, yeah, I was a wreck. And you know Donny. Donny was a great guy. I'm in the green room with the guy that created Life is Good. What the heck was his name? I can't remember. Great guy, but we had a great
Wait
chat.
a minute. I watched that segment. You weren't nervous. The tips you gave were spot on. What do you mean you were a nervous wreck?
I was a nervous wreck because he said, we're going to talk about your book. But then at the last minute, he said, we're not going to do that. Here's what we're going to talk about. And he just asked me those simple questions, like off the cuff. I was not prepared. So I got lucky. I talked about some of the cool products.
You talked about costs. You talked about packaging. You talked about the name.
Yeah.
I mean, I even made notes. All that stuff made a lot of sense.
Yeah. But when I got done with that, it was so fast and so quick. And Donny was yelling at some of the crew because they weren't doing their job right. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even going to be on. And then when I saw this segment, I was like, who is this guy they're talking about? So that was a really fun time.
It was great. Don, thank you so much for spending time with us at InventRightTV. I'm amazed. Like I said, I think everybody's had your product. I've had it. Everybody knows about it. And you're just amazing. And thank you for spending time and sharing the whole process with all of us.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. And anytime you need some tips, I'm here.
All right. Hey, everybody, Stephen Key, InventRightTV. Please give us the thumbs up, subscribe down below, and we'll see you next time. Okay, you've got a great product idea and you're not quite sure what to do. Or maybe you've got inventory in your garage because you were selling your product on Amazon and you don't want to continue doing it, but you want someone to help you license your idea to a company to bring it to market for you. We have a new program that's called Gateway, where we do all the work for you. We'll find the right companies and the right people to make sure your product is pitched correctly to get the licensing deal. This new program is called Gateway. If you're interested, please check it out.